Embrace the miraculous morning, 7 divine meditations to manifest gratitude every day. In a quaint village, nestled among hills draped in vibrant shades of green, lived Sarah, a devoted mother whose heart pulsed with unwavering faith. The church bells rang like a symphony of hope, calling villagers to prayer, their faces reflecting the warmth of community spirit. But shadows loomed over this serene life when 9-year-old Emily fell gravely ill. As candles flickered in the chapel, Sarah's heart ached under the weight of despair, even as the sacred rituals of her church became her lifeline. Each day, the villagers gathered, filling the air with heartfelt prayers, declaring the intercession of St. Jude, the patron saint for lost causes. Miracles happen every day, they would proclaim, recounting rapturous testimonies of divine intervention. Yet as Emily's condition worsened, Sarah's grip on that divine warmth began to cool. At the altar, the crucifix hung heavy with unspoken pleas, and a whisper of doubt crept into Sarah's heart. Father Thomas noticed her pain. "Trust in his plan, for miracles are not bound by our understanding," he urged, his voice imbued with a soothing familiarity. Those words, simple yet profound, ignited a flicker of hope within her just as a mysterious visitor entered the chapel, an old man with eyes like pools of wisdom. He spoke of a revolutionary treatment that could change everything. Sarah felt her heart race. This was a leap of faith, this was a chance for her beloved Emily. Sometimes, the old man said, believing is the first step towards the miraculous. With her hands trembling, Sarah embraced that leap, yet doubts loomed as turbulent waves threatened to drown her spirit. The community rallied around her, a powerful chorus of prayers swelling like a tide, filling the chapel each day, but new challenges appeared like shadows at dusk. Doctors spoke in hushed tones with apologetic eyes, and Sarah wrestled with unanswered questions. Was this healing truly possible? As she lit candles, her fingers trembled not just from the flame but from the divine mystery unfurling before her. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With hearts beating as one, the villagers brought sacramental bread to share. They meditated on the healing power of gratitude. Each day bore witness to unexplainable signs, a gust of wind that whispered sweet promises, the sun shimmering in blessings that glittered like diamonds upon the fields. In their eyes, Sarah saw a growing unity, an unbreakable bond that transcended earthly limitations. Miracles shimmered in the air, and just as deeper trust began to take root, Emily, frail but radiant, started showing signs of improvement. Yet amidst the joy, a profound realization dawned on Sarah. True faith flourished in gratitude, even in moments of uncertainty. With every dawn that broke, there was a richer embrace of love and community, but lingering doubts still trailed her like shadows. What did it mean to embrace the miraculous? Could it truly exist when life was fraught with challenges? What would the dawn of tomorrow reveal? The air crackled with possibilities, she could feel the pulse of hope, urging her forth into the unknown. As dawn crept over the hills, painting the sky in hues of gold and lavender, Sarah found herself at the chapel once more. There was a quiet beauty in the early morning light that reminded her of God's promises. She lit a new candle, its flame flickering with her fervent hopes for Emily's full restoration. The scent of beeswax and fresh flowers filled the air, and Sarah took a deep breath, letting it steady her heart. "Lord, show me the way," she whispered. Each day had felt like a precious gift, and now, as she knelt before the altar, a sense of determination coursed through her. No longer did she want to hover in the shadows of doubt, she was ready to step into the light of faith once more. Around her, other villagers were gathering, their faces filled with resolve. Father Thomas approached, his expression serene but firm. "Today, we shall pray not only for healing but also for understanding," he announced. A collective murmur of agreement spread through the congregation. Each person's heart united in purpose, their spirits lifting like the rising sun as their voices intertwined in hymns of praise, Sarah felt the rhythm of her own heart begin to sync with the others. She closed her eyes, envisioning Emily surrounded by a warm light, healing light, divine light. The image cracked open a reservoir of love within her, an outpouring that seemed to swirl around the chapel like an unseen breeze. The old man's words echoed in her mind, "Believing is the first step towards the miraculous." Yes, Sarah thought. She had already taken that leap of faith. Now she needed to rise above her fears. Miracles, she realized, weren't just grand gestures, they were often quiet, like the whisper of leaves or the first light of day. Each moment held an opportunity for grace. As prayers flowed, Sarah suddenly felt a tangible shift in the atmosphere. A young woman named Anna, known for her vivacious spirit and intense prayers, stood up. Her voice quivered with urgency as she shared a vision that came to her in prayer. "I saw Emily, vibrant and laughing, dancing in a field of flowers. God has a plan for her, one filled with life and joy." Cheers erupted, igniting a new energy within the chapel. In that moment, faith intertwined with hope, crafting a tapestry of collective belief. Tears glistened in the eyes of many, and Sarah felt them flow down her cheeks, warm and soothing. They began to chant Emily's name, a powerful invocation of unity that seemed to reach into the heavens. In that sacred space, Sarah discovered something profound. While they prayed for Emily, they were also praying for their own fears, doubts, and struggles. The realization washed over her, a kind of prayer for each other's burdens. With every Emily that rang out, the doubt that had clung to Sarah's heart began to dissolve. Every face in the chapel, marked by devotion and love, sparkled with the promise of change. "Together, we are strong," they declared, echoing through the rafters. Yet, amid this surge of faith, a flicker of uncertainty reminded Sarah that a test of faith often awaited those on the brink of miracles. The old man had hinted at the unexpected twists life could take. What might they face next? Could they hold on to this joy? As the prayer session began to close, she felt a strange mix of anticipation and trepidation. What if the outcome was not as hoped? But deep down, a voice, soft yet firm, reminded her that even in uncertainty, there was always guidance, even when paths diverged in unexpected ways. And so, as the sun climbed higher, rays of hope cascading through the chapel, Sarah's heart felt lighter. She had chosen trust. What awaited them in that journey? She could almost sense divine whispers dancing around her, hinting at the next chapter yet unwritten. Could miracles be just around the corner? As the sun bathed the chapel in golden hues, a hush fell over the gathered congregation. The air was charged with anticipation, a holy expectancy that rippled through Sarah and her fellow worshippers. It felt like the earth itself was holding its breath, waiting for the movement of the divine. Father Thomas stepped forward, his hands outstretched, beckoning the hearts around him. "Let us open our spirits to the divine today. May we not only speak our wishes but hear the whispers of God's promise," he proclaimed, his voice firm and filled with warmth. Sarah leaned into his words, letting them wash over her like balm on a wound. The vulnerability of their collective need was an offering, a desire to connect beyond the barriers of everyday life. As they began to chant soft prayers, Sarah's thoughts turned inward. She felt the warmth of each person's essence in the chapel, a tapestry woven from shared struggles and hopes. "What do you want from me today, Lord?" she silently asked, hoping to receive an answer in this sacred moment. With eyes closed, each breath filled her with a sense of peace that, for the first time, felt deeper than her own fears. She opened her heart wider, allowing only love and faith to fill her. It was hard to describe, but it was as if she were standing at the edge of a vast ocean, feeling the gentle pull of the tide beckoning her to dive in. Suddenly, a quiet voice broke through the meditative silence. It was Anna, her face glowing radiantly. "I heard a promise. He says, I am here." Her words danced in the air, igniting the congregation with renewed fervor. "His presence is among us, just like the light that fills this room." A wave of energy surged through the crowd, lifting spirits and calming fears. Sarah felt encouragement grow within her as she turned her gaze towards Emily's empty seat. She envisioned Emily laughing, embracing the joy Anna had shared. "Yes, Lord, let it be so," Sarah whispered fervently. As they prayed, several children from the village, drawn by the sound of community, timidly peered through the chapel doors. Their innocent faces, full of wonder, brought a fresh breeze into the space. Sarah smiled as one little boy pointed towards a sunbeam streaming through the stained glass, shouting, "Look! Goddess light!" The adults chuckled, the sound echoing like music. In that brief moment, laughter became woven into their solemn moment of prayer. Father Thomas, sensing the shift, encouraged simplicity and joy. Even the youngest among us can teach us to embrace the light. Let us remember, no matter the trials we face, joy is a part of our faith journey. Encouraged by this new sense of camaraderie, Sarah felt a rush of hope. Perhaps this unity would open up new pathways for Emily's healing. And then, she realized, the journey wasn't merely about healing one person, it was about the entire community being transformed, finding solace in shared love and unwavering faith. The prayers soared, rising and wrapping around each soul, crossing barriers, jumping divisions. In this moment, a vibrant spirit infused the air, transcending mere human expectation. They were linked not just in need, but in an unshakable determination to trust in God's unfolding plan. But as lights danced and hearts swelled, Sarah felt a flicker of uncertainty. Although they felt buoyed by faith, the question lingered: how long could they sustain this hope? What challenges lay before them? Just out of sight, she opened her heart further, waiting for a sign, a whisper. What would come next in this journey of faith? Sarah's spirit tugged at the thought, feeling both exhilarated and apprehensive about the road ahead, longing for answers that could lead them into a deeper understanding of love and healing. Where might the next step reveal more than they could ever anticipate? What divine encounters waited just beyond the threshold of their prayers? As the gathering settled into a serene silence, the atmosphere thickened with anticipation, each heart fluttering with unspoken hopes. Sarah breathed deeply, her chest rising and falling like the gentle waves of the ocean she had envisioned earlier. In this sacred space, infused with faith, something deep within her began to stir. It was as if the very walls of the chapel were vibrating with the promise of the divine. Father Thomas glanced around the congregation, his eyes sparkling with a light that seemed to reflect the very essence of divine presence. "Let us lift our voices together," he called, prompting everyone to join in unified prayer. The chants rose, intertwining as they flowed seamlessly from one heart to another. Their voices became instruments of worship, conducted by an unseen hand, drawing the entire assembly into a deeper realm of connection. "Lord, we come before you, just as we are," Sarah whispered, her words a personal plea slipping through the serenity of community. "Open our eyes to see your miracles, and our hearts to embrace your love anew." With each phrase, she felt a renewed sense of mission blossom within her. Eyes began to shimmer with tears of vulnerability, but they were tears of gratitude budding with hope rather than despair. The chapel was not just a space of worship, it transformed into a sanctuary of possibilities. From the back of the room, an elderly woman named Martha began to hum softly. The melody felt like honey dripping from heaven, sweet and comforting. One by one, others began to hum along, creating a tapestry of sound that washed over Sarah like a warm embrace. It was a collective offering, surrendering fears and anxieties to something greater than themselves. Just then, from the corner of her eye, Sarah caught sight of light flickering against the stained glass. For a fleeting moment, the figures depicted in the glass seemed to come to life. Was it a smile? Soft whispers echoed within her, "All things are made new." Her heart leaped at the thought. It was then that Father Thomas extended his arms, palms open towards the sun, inviting the light to fill their space. "Let the love of God permeate our hearts and illuminate our minds," he declared, and Sarah closed her eyes tighter. The warmth of the sun streamed in, bathing the entire chapel in a golden glow, a vivid reminder of divine watchfulness. A child in the front row giggled, grabbing everyone's attention. "Look at the sparkles," he exclaimed, pointing to the light catching on the dust motes in the air. The laughter rippled through the congregation, easing tensions and reminding everyone of the wonder that lay in simplicity. "This child sees the divine beauty in the mundane," Father Thomas remarked, smiling. "Let us not forget, even in our struggles, there is grace, even in our waiting, there is promise." Sarah felt her faith growing roots, spreading within her like a prayerful tree, reaching for the heavens. She sensed that these moments were not mere coincidences but building blocks of something magnificent at work. Could it be that God was preparing their hearts for a great awakening? A restoration not only for Emily but for all? Suddenly, doubts no longer held sway over her. Instead, anticipation surged through her veins like the first blush of dawn breaking over the horizon. They prayed fervently for clarity, for guidance. She yearned for confirmation of the divine messages stirring around them, the leading of the Spirit upon them. And then, almost instinctively, with one voice, they cried out for healing. Reveal it, Lord. Reveal what's next. Sarah felt the chapel tremble with devotion, as if the very earth answered their call. And in that fervent moment, an inexplicable peace enveloped her. It was as if the universe were leaning closer, eager to unfold the next chapter of their journey in faith. What awaited them beyond that outpouring of prayer? What revelations were just around the corner, ready to break like waves upon the shore? As the final echoes of their prayer resounded through the chapel, a hush fell upon the gathered souls. It was a moment steeped in unspoken possibilities, where hope hung like dew on the morning grass. Sarah felt a shift in the air, a palpable energy that sent ripples of anticipation through her spirit. Father Thomas stood still, arms open, allowing the golden rays to wash over him. His brow glistened, illuminated like a beacon of faith. Hold on to this moment, he urged gently, his voice steady yet filled with fervor. God's goodness is here among us. Feel it, embrace it. Martha's melody lingered softly, weaving its way into the hearts of all present. It was infectious, a reminder that joy often springs forth from ordinary moments. Inspired by Martha's faith, Sarah stepped forward with a lightness in her heart. She felt as though she were teetering on the edge of something profound. A faint breeze drifted through the open windows, stirring the air lightly, as if inviting their prayers to dance across the heavens. Sarah closed her eyes again, breathing in the scent of polished wood and blossoming hope. In this sacred stillness, the whispers grew louder. The divine messages she sought felt closer now, filling the void with clarity and purpose. Suddenly, the chapel doors swung open. A figure stepped inside, a young man, weary yet radiant, with eyes that shimmered like new beginnings. Gasps of surprise rippled through the congregation. I've heard your prayers, he proclaimed, his voice vibrant with conviction. And I have come to share. Father Thomas's gaze shifted to the newcomer, hope kindling in his eyes. What do you bring, dear brother? The young man took a staggering step forward. I am Nathaniel. I've traveled to you, to your altar of faith. Your prayers have reached me beyond the mountains. I bring you the word that God has given me, a promise of healing for Emily and for many more. Gasps surged through the congregation. Faces lit up with wonder and hope. Sarah felt a rush of warmth pool in her chest. What is this promise? She whispered to herself, her heart now pounding with both excitement and anticipation. Nathaniel stood taller, a knowing smile crossing his lips. The Lord has revealed to me that a new spirit shall flow through those who have faith in his goodness. Healing is not only of the body but of the heart, mind, and spirit. It will manifest in ways we cannot yet fathom. As he spoke, warmth radiated through the chapel. The light of the sun seemed to shift and shimmer, projecting colors that danced upon the walls. Sarah prayed silently for understanding, for clarity. Could this be the affirmation she had yearned for so deeply? It was then that a voice, small but strong, echoed from the back. It was Alice, a kind-hearted woman known for her steadfast faith. What must we do? She called out, her voice firm yet tender. What is required of us to receive this blessing? Nathaniel turned to her, eyes shining. To open your hearts further, and live with gratitude and love. Embrace a spirit of unity, for through your togetherness, the miracles shall multiply. The congregation responded with murmurs of agreement. Hearts were swelling with anticipation. Sarah felt tears pricking at the corners of her eyes again. This was the answer she had waited for, the invitation to a deeper walk of faith. Yet, as the moment unfolded, doubt, a whisper of the old fears, began creeping in. What if? Sarah thought, what if we fail to embrace this call? Would the grace of God still flow freely even if she faltered? But there, in the gaze of her fellow believers and in Nathaniel's unwavering spirit, she found encouragement. It felt like being lifted from shadows into a radiant sunrise. They all began to join hands, creating a chain of faith and unity, Sarah felt something significant unfurling. They were stepping into an unfolding promise, a sacred journey where the miraculous met the everyday. What awaited them at the end of this path? Could the miraculous truly rise from their collective faith? And how would they discover the fullness of God's plan? With hearts ignited, they stood ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. With hands intertwined, a silent current pulsed through the gathered congregation. Each heartbeat resonated with a collective hope, intertwining their lives and spirits in ways they had never imagined. The chapel felt alive, vibrant, as though heaven itself was listening intently to every whisper and prayer. Father Thomas looked around, his expression one of profound reverence. "Friends," he said, his voice steady, "this is the moment we've been yearning for. Let us not allow fear to stand in the way of God's promises. Let our hearts become vessels for His grace." As the sun bathed the chapel in a golden hue, Sarah felt an awakening within. She closed her eyes again, allowing a wave of peace to wash over her. "Lord, I am here, open to your will," she murmured, allowing her worries to dissolve like morning mist in sunlight. Nathanael stepped forward, his presence a testament of surrender. "Let us pray together," he urged. "Let us ask the Spirit to flow freely among us, bringing healing and transformation." A soft murmur of agreement cascaded through the congregation, lifting their spirits like a song carried on the wind. As they bowed their heads in unity, the air around them thickened with an unmistakable presence. It was tangible, a lightness that danced through the chapel. Sarah sensed it swirling gently around her, uplifting the heaviness of doubt. "Holy Spirit, fill us. Let each of our hearts be a garden for your seeds of faith," Nathanael prayed passionately, his voice rising with fervor. "Let our burdens fall, and may we rise anew." And then it happened. A quiet stillness enveloped the group, washing over them like a comforting embrace. In that moment, every person felt the weight of their fears lift. Tears flowed, not just of sorrow but of relief and overwhelming joy. Sarah glanced at Alice, whose eyes sparkled with unshed hope. The familiarity of unified faith deepened the connection they shared, reinforcing their belief in the miracles about to unfold. God's timing is perfect. Trust in His plan. Nathanael encouraged, sensing the stirring within them. He seemed to embody the very essence of faith, bold yet gentle, filled with the anticipation of what was to come. Around the room, soft whispers of encouragement echoed. "Keep praying. We are one in His love. Together, we will walk this path." Each affirmation buoyed their spirits higher, awakening a new resolve, not one that wished for miracles to happen, but one that expected them, confident in the promises made. Sarah opened her heart wider, embracing the desires she had held within. "I believe, Lord. Show me. Show us all," she cried softly, as the gathering's energy linked into a single pulse of faith. But then a still voice whispered within her doubt had not vanished entirely. What if our belief isn't enough? What if we miss the signs? This lingering fear, though fragile, danced in the back of her mind, a reminder that faith often walks hand in hand with uncertainty. Yet, in the depths of her soul, she felt a stirring light, a gentle pull towards hope. What if this very struggle was part of the process? The path to healing could be paved not just with unwavering faith but with the honest grappling of their spirits. As if reading her thoughts, Nathanael met her gaze, a reassuring smile crossing his lips. "We are not meant to have all the answers," he said, voice steady. "Faith is a journey, not a destination. Your doubts can lead to deeper trust." As another wave of prayer swept through the congregation, a powerful sense of anticipation surged. They were on the cusp of something divine, mysterious yet intimate. What miracles awaited them in the days to follow? What transformative power would unfold with their shared faith? As hope took root, they knew one thing for certain: together, they would embrace whatever came next, stepping boldly into the light of God's promises. Would they discover the fullness of His magnificent plan together? The journey had begun, and the promise of healing was closer than they had ever imagined. The stillness in the chapel deepened, wrapping the congregation like a soft blanket of reverence. It felt as if time had paused, allowing the sacred moment to stretch indefinitely. Nathanael, sensing the profound shift, lifted his hands to the skies. "Let us bathe in His holiness," he called out. With that proclamation, a wave of energy coursed through everyone present. Eyes remained closed, but hearts soared. Sarah felt a warmth bubbling inside her, an almost tangible connection to everyone around her. It wasn't just a moment of prayer, it was communion, a collective heartbeat of faith pulsing in unison. Suddenly, a sound rippled through the chapel, like the rustle of leaves kissed by a gentle breeze. It was both serene and powerful, enveloping them in divine intimacy. Sarah dared to open her eyes. The golden light poured in through the tall stained glass windows, casting vibrant colors across the floor, an ethereal canvas of goddess love and hope. "Look!" Alice exclaimed, pointing at the rainbow hues dancing across their feet. "It's as if heaven is rejoicing with us." The murmur of excitement increased, and the gentle grasp of hands tightened. Sarah felt a rush of gratitude for being part of this sacred gathering. The fear that crept into her thoughts began to feel small in the light of this moment. The congregation was witnessing something beautiful, a manifestation of His presence. "Father, let us be vessels of your peace," Nathanael continued, raising his voice again, filled now with urgency. "Let us be agents of your love." As he prayed, the fervor in the room grew. Each person felt that part of this miracle lay in their willingness to embody faith at that moment. Tears streamed down faces, not out of despair but from an overwhelming sense of connection. "He is here," came a voice from the back, igniting a chorus of agreement. "We are His beloved." The words echoed through the chapel, resonating like a heavenly symphony that united them all in joyous surrender. Sarah considered her own heart, realizing how fear and doubt had held her hostage for too long. "Oh Lord, I'm ready," she whispered, "ready to let go of my hesitation and embrace your intentions for my life." The more she surrendered to this possibility, the more the warmth within her expanded. A moment of hush fell again, a gripping silence that felt like the calm before a storm. When Nathanael spoke again, his voice was a gentle thunder. "Believe that miracles are on the horizon. Believe that every step we take in faith will lead us to glory." The fire in their spirits began to spark into wild flames. "Miracles are expected," Sarah shouted, her heart pounding with excitement. "We are ready to witness them." The entire congregation leaned into that expectation, lifting their voices in unison. "We are ready, Lord." The air felt electric. Just then, a flicker of movement caught Sarah's eye. A small child, no older than 5, stepped from the back, eyes wide in awe. She walked slowly toward the altar, as if she'd been beckoned by something beyond comprehension. Whispers rippled among the adults, some gazing in confusion, others with delight. "Your faith, little one. What comes next?" Nathanael asked, kneeling down to her level, curiosity lighting his face. In that moment, the child raised her tiny hands toward the sky, and everyone fell silent again, holding their breath. What was God about to reveal? As the child began to speak, soft yet powerful words flowed from her lips, echoing the very essence of childlike faith. "God loves us so much." Hearts ignited further, and joy burst forth like confetti in the chapel. What divine message awaited in the unfiltered reflections of a child? With eager anticipation, they all leaned closer, ready for what God had in store next. Could the unadulterated voice of innocence unlock even deeper truths for them all? What would be revealed in this perfect moment of revelation? The child's simple proclamation hung in the air, shimmering like a golden thread that wove through the hearts of everyone present. Sarah felt that thread tugging at her soul, inviting her to reflect on the enormity of love encapsulated in those 4 words. God loves us so much. It wasn't merely a statement, it was a revelation, an echo of the very foundation of their faith. Around her, smiles blossomed like flowers in spring. It was as if the chapel had transformed into a sanctuary of unrestrained joy. Nathanael's eyes twinkled with delight as he returned to his feet, a new energy surging through him. Yes. His love is the wellspring of every miracle, isn't it? He proclaimed, the fervor of his voice igniting the atmosphere anew. The child stood there, unyielding and serene. The congregation watched her with rapture, their own faith reignited by her innocence. Nathanael knelt again, looking directly into her wide, glimmering eyes. Little one, what should we do with such love? In that instant, her gaze shifted as if she could see beyond the tangible. We share it. Her voice, though delicate, rang out like a clear bell, resonating with clarity that filled every corner of the chapel. A wave of understanding washed over Sarah. Sharing love, it's a simple call, yet its implications were profound. The fear that had once gripped her heart began to melt away, replaced by a determination to embody that love, to manifest it through her actions. Let us be rivers of his love. Sarah called out, the words spilling from her lips as excitement danced in her chest. Let us share it with the world. The congregation erupted in agreement. Yes. We'll be vessels. Echoed voices from every corner. Hands raised high, hearts lifted, and they began to chant, we are rivers of his love. The sound of unity filled the chapel, a thunderous affirmation that resonated deeply within each spirit. But then, a hush fell once again as the child smiled sweetly, tilting her head as if she knew something everyone else had yet to grasp. And when we share there are gifts. She added, her small hands fluttering like butterflies. Gifts? Sarah felt a rush of curiosity. What could this child possibly mean? A spark ignited in her heart, igniting questions that swirled like leaves caught in a gentle wind. Was it the gift of hope? Or perhaps the gift of healing that they could take to others? Nathaniel looked thoughtful, nodding slowly. Gifts, yes. There's abundance in sharing his love. We must prepare our hearts, believing we'll receive whatever our God sees fit. The congregation leaned in, a palpable tension building, as if something magnificent was upon them. Eyes locked on the child, they awaited the next utterance, feeling the divine energy coursing through the air. As she opened her mouth to speak again, a gentle light began to radiate from the altar, illuminating her silhouette with a brilliance that looked like a brush of grace. Gasps filled the chapel, the atmosphere shimmered with expectancy. What was about to unfold? As they stood there, breath held tight with anticipation, Sarah could hardly contain the excitement bubbling within her. What gifts awaited them? What transformations would their faith weave into reality? The moment quivered with sacred potential, teetering on the edge of something wondrous. As the child prepared to share once more, they wondered, could this be the threshold to miracles? Would they step into the extraordinary, led by the simplest yet profound truths? The divine mystery was unfolding right before their eyes, beckoning them into deeper faith. The child took a breath, her small chest rising with an innocence that seemed to draw all of heaven's attention. The gifts, she began, her voice barely a whisper yet filled with weight, they are not just things to hold. They are the moments we create, brave and true. Each word lingered like a gentle caress, washing over Sarah like a warm sunbeam. She'd never thought of gifts in that way. It stirred her heart. Moments? Could it be that in sharing love, they were also weaving an intricate tapestry of experiences, memories, and connections? A soft murmur rustled through the congregation, sparks of realization flickering in their eyes. Nathaniel leaned closer. You mean with love, we create miracles? Each act of kindness is a treasure? The child nodded slowly, her eyes wide with understanding that seemed to radiate wisdom beyond her years. Yes. Every time we share love, we make a miracle. It's the laughter of joy, the tears of compassion, or even the hugs of comfort. An electrifying sense of clarity burst forth in Sarah. Yes. This was it. Love was not just grand gestures but the simple, everyday moments. Cooking a meal for a neighbor, a prayer for someone in need, or a smile exchanged with a stranger. They could be miracles, tiny but mighty. Let us take this to heart. Sarah exclaimed, her voice ringing strong once more. Let every interaction be a chance to give and receive. Our love can build bridges, restore hearts, and illuminate darkness. Yes. The chant erupted once more, echoing like waves collapsing onto a shore. We are rivers of his love. We create miracles. As the applause surged through the chapel, Sarah felt something shift within her, a swelling hope that filled the hollow spaces where doubt had resided. The child stood in the center, unfazed by the commotion, bathed in the light from the altar, her demeanor calm yet brimmed with anticipation as if a secret delight awaited. Suddenly, the light brightened, enveloping the chapel in warmth. It was soothing, like a blanket woven from divine threads of peace. People began to close their eyes in reverence, fingertips tingling with the sensation of the holy presence. "Seek your gifts," the child said softly, her voice now resonating deeply within each heart. "Close your eyes and feel. Love is the greatest gift, and every heart in this room has its own special treasure. Trust and open yourselves. Let the river of his love guide you." Sarah squeezed her eyes shut, focusing within. She could feel the vibrations of faith pulsing through her veins. A vision danced behind her eyelids, the faces of those she loved, those in need, those who had shared laughter and tears with her. Each face was a reminder of connection, of quintessential love that blossomed from Goddess grace. What treasures lay ahead, just waiting to be uncovered? A profound silence settled, full of promise. Each soul resonated with the gentle rhythm of expectancy. What gifts would be unearthed from their hearts? What miracles awaited just beyond their willingness to receive? The air hummed with energy, crackling with divine potential. As they stood on this threshold, poised to embrace whatever was to come, Sarah felt an undeniable urge rise within her. Would they take the leap together? Would they trust the river to carry them? The question hung in the air like a beacon, radiant and compelling. What awaited them if they let love guide their every step? As the congregation stood in quiet reverence, a profound stillness enveloped the chapel like a warm embrace. Sarah could feel the power of collective faith thrumming in the air, creating an exquisite backdrop for the gifts that were about to unfold before them. Her heart raced with anticipation, knowing the divine had taken hold of their gathering in this special moment. "Open your hearts," the child urged softly, her innocence creating a sacred space where vulnerability mingled with strength. "Let love flow." Taking a deep breath, Sarah closed her eyes again, letting the sound of the child's voice wash over her. She imagined hearts intertwining like vines, each one unique but rooted in the same purpose. In that moment, a gentle light began to shimmer within her, illuminating thoughts long hidden beneath layers of doubt. "Lord," she whispered, her voice trembling with intensity, "let me truly understand the miracle of connection, the miracle of sharing." The air in the chapel grew thick with possibility. Sarah could sense the warmth radiating from those around her, as their shared purpose echoed louder than any whispered fear. Their collective trust beat like a drum, a steady rhythm announcing faith was alive and burgeoning amidst them. Suddenly, Nathaniel spoke, breaking the silence. "Let us share what rises within us. Tell one another what treasures have you felt in your hearts." A wave of excitement rippled through the chapel. People turned to each other, eyes shining with anticipation. "What gifts of love have you discovered?" Nathaniel's voice was alive with encouragement, igniting sparks of inspiration in everyone present. Martha, an elderly woman with a soft smile, stood up first. "I feel the gift of patience," she declared, her voice steady yet vibrant. "Through trials, God has taught me to wait and trust. Each day is a lesson." The congregation cheered her on, voices swelling in unison. "Yes. Patience is a gift." Alice raised her hand, eyes gleaming. "I feel the gift of compassion blooming in my heart. As we reach out, we can change lives with kindness. Just a small act can weave hope into the fabric of someone's day." "Amazing, Alice," Nathaniel praised, beaming at her. "Compassion leads to miracles." One by one, people began to rise, bringing light as they shared their revelations, the gift of joy, the gift of friendship, the gift of healing in community. Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of unity swell within her. Each declaration intertwined like threads forming a tapestry. When it was finally her turn, Sarah stood tall, feeling the radiant energy surrounding her, soothing the remnants of her fear. "I feel the gift of hope," she called out, her voice ringing clear. "Hope for Emily's recovery and for every one of us to embrace the love we share. It's a promise that cuts through darkness, illuminating paths we've yet to walk." "Hope transforms," echoed back through the chapel, the affirmation soaring a launch pad into their shared journey with faith. A hush fell over them once more, but this time it was not heavy, it felt pregnant with promise. The child, still glowing by the altar, smiled beatifically as if she knew something beyond comprehension. "Your hearts have spoken," she said, her voice a gentle whisper that still commanded attention. "Now share that love." With an exhilarating spark, the congregation joined hands again, making a circle encompassing everyone young and old. Their connectedness felt like the roots of a mighty tree, grounded yet reaching for the skies. From their intertwined hands, a soft, radiant glow began to emerge, pulsating with warmth. It was as if love itself had taken form, embodying the very essence of their prayers. The light flickered, dancing through the gathering with a fervent energy, a tangible manifestation of the divine. As the light grew stronger, Sarah felt it pull at her very soul. It washed away the last remnants of doubt. She knew without question that miracles were tangible, born from love and gratitude. It wasn't merely about the healing of Emily, it encompassed a greater healing, a spirit of renewal that would resonate throughout their community. Then, from within that radiant light, a sudden clarity shone through Sarah's heart. "We are all healers," she exclaimed, catching the fervor of everyone's spirits. "Every act of love, every word of encouragement, it all creates waves. We can reshape lives, our lives. Let us take this message beyond these walls." Nathaniel urged, his voice electrified by conviction. "Share your gifts with the world. Let the miracles unfold." They shouted together, a powerful chorus of hope echoing through the chapel and spilling out into the world. The light within them seemed to cascade like cascading waterfalls, cleansing every doubt, every fear. With hearts ablaze with faith, they emerged from the chapel, ready to share the love of God. It was as though each step was guided by promises and whispers, unfurling into their daily lives, illuminating every dark corner they encountered. That day, the sun shined a bit brighter, the breeze carried laughter a bit further, and the village pulsed with the vibrancy of hope. Emily's recovery was but one promise amidst the manifold blessings they were destined to discover. They left the chapel, fully pregnant with promise, their hearts bound together, strong yet tender, ready to be rivers of His love, casting each miracle into the world. You need to subscribe now to our channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that will feed your soul. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others discover this divine journey. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this powerful ending, as your words could inspire someone else to believe. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this miraculous manifestation. This is the moment to show your unwavering support. Don't wait even one more second.